Welcome back to Tydarium Hangar. This is Mike. I'm gonna come at you with a collection video, and this is gonna be Yo MTV Crib style. So come on in. Welcome back to the Tydarium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I'm going to talk to you about a full collection review. This is going to be everything in my collection. I know a lot of people have been asking. I've shown bits and pieces, parts of my collection, but today I'm going to show it all. I'm going to show everything. But I collect a lot more than just one thing, so there's a whole lot of stuff in here. Star Wars, Transformers, Bionic, 6, Centurions, Mask, and Voltron, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to show it all to you. We'll start with this wall right here. Okay, so going over this wall here, starting at the bottom, these are some box ships all the way up to smaller box ships and then figures. And the thing is that I'm really at heart a Star Wars vintage collector. That's kind of my favorite thing to collect. But of course, when you start getting close to complete on your collection, it's not as much fun because there's not as much to find. So, and there's not a whole lot going on with Star Wars right now. Anyway, I'm going to get into what I've done with this. And I'm going to show you a lot of stuff, but it is still kind of fun when you find something in the wild. So the way I set this up, the very top is the Power of the Force line with the coins in it, and I did that because those were the ones that I just felt like putting at the very top, and I just kind of wanted to go in order, and then I went down to the Star Wars after that. The thing is, Star Wars itself, I don't have enough Star Wars ones to make a whole row across, so I have the Power of the Force all the way across, Star Wars most of the way across, and then I start working on Empire Strikes Back, then more Empire Strikes Back, and then down lower, Empire Strikes Back, and kind of Jedi mixed in, and then everything down below it is Jedi. Now the thing about that is they did release a lot of the same figures on multiple cards, so when you're looking at it, you're seeing, like in some cases, Luke Skywalker was, the first Luke Skywalker was on all 3 cards, or maybe even all 4, I don't even remember. And if you look at the Power of the Force, we have a couple of figures that were on all the cards of the Power of the Force. So I don't have all mine in sequential order. I looked at it, I got both of them. But out of this wall here, probably half of them aren't even sealed. So they look sealed because, say, I got a card back with a bubble on it on eBay or something, and I think that's the cheapest way to go. So maybe you get a bubble for $10, $20, $30, throw your own figure in it. That's much cheaper than $300 on a carded one. Up top, I named my channel Tydarium Hangar after the Tydarium shuttle, so the Imperial Shuttle Tydarium, and this is actually my favorite vehicle made in Star Wars, hands down, by far. I love that vehicle. I don't know why, just super sleek maybe, I guess, I don't know. I also had the mini rig when I was a kid, but see, the mini rig as a kid, I didn't even know this existed because it was so expensive. I never bought it. I was never anyone that had an idea to buy this for me as a kid. So I have all of these, and I have 6 more in the attic. I'll show you when we get to that room. Okay, so this is really what I call my man room, and it's my main man room. It is also the studio. This is where I do a lot of my work. This here looks like an extra camera and stuff like that. But the reality of this is my primary man room. I also kind of view this as kind of a showroom. This is where I showcase some of my favorite things in my collection, i.e. my masterpiece collection behind me, the Star Wars that we just looked at. So this room here is my favorite out of all of them. Spend a lot of time in here, whether it's editing videos or doing whatever I'm doing. So this is kind of my dual screen setup where I edit videos and all of that stuff. This is the desk. I'm the super cheapskate. I got this desk for $5 at a garage sale, and it fits the corner perfect, fits my room perfect. But anyway, yeah, I use this to kind of hold up shelving, to shelve all of this stuff I'm about to show you right now. So this is mostly modern vintage collection stuff, so Star Wars vintage collection, and I put it all up here kind of like to try to keep it grouped. I think I have 1 or 2 actual vintage items up here, but the reality of this is mostly modern vintage, and over the years I collected it as it comes out, you know, the HasLab cell barge and all that stuff. You probably see the empty box upstairs, that are shipping boxes that were upstairs. So this is definitely fun, and I really hope they continue this line. So this little section here is kind of a storage area. I store extra parts and pieces, bits and pieces, and figures. This is kind of one of my fun little figure shelves that I have going on for vintage Star Wars. the little coins and stuff, so I can kind of keep track of what I've got. But this is kind of what I was using to keep track of parts and pieces for all the Death Stars. As I did my Death Star video with the 9 Death Stars in a circle, we're going to see that when we go upstairs here in a little bit. And I also have it up here, so we're going to see that also here in just a bit. So up here, this was the beginnings of that project. I had 5 of them put together, 4 or 5 of them put together up here. And so this began the project. And then of course, I decided to build out a display up here and all of that. But I'm actually going to, on the right side where I have all those AT-ATs, that's where I'm going to put my Unicron. So I got to move all those AT-ATs, relocate them somewhere. I was thinking about maybe building a shelf on the left side and kind of moving some stuff just a bit and doing a second shelf of AT-ATs over there, AT-ATs, AT-ATs, whatever people call them. Down below here, this is more boxed vintage stuff, fun stuff that, you know, over 20 years of collecting it takes to accumulate that. So right here, this kind of turned into a big mess. I don't really go back here very much because I have that what is it, Fort Max that Fansway's gonna make. I got that picture here. But down here, I had X-Wings and all this good stuff. So a shelf of everything. So down at the bottom was sand crawlers, and we have snow speeders, and we have land speeders, and we have A-Wings and X-Wings, and then I have a little bit of an extra Legends shelf, just kind of stuff that's duplicated and just kind of spilled over to here. And then I got my 12-inch collection, so I've got like B-Wings over here. I'm actually going to be doing a B-Wing project. Down here I have some Darth Vader heads full of figures and some C-3POs full of figures. Also have my baggie of weapons. So I don't have the figures all with their weapons. I have them in a baggie. I don't know why. I started doing that a long time ago when I just would get a collection and I'd throw all the vintage weapons in a bag to know they're vintage instead of storing them with the figures, and it was kind of silly. I've recently just picked up, let's get that in frame, recently just picked up a Jedi soft case, which I never had before, which is one of the weirdest things. Like if you get the figure on Jedi card back, it's not worth much, but these are hard to find because the soft cases, they just made less and less each year. So by the time they got the Jedi, they made very few. So it's just one of the things, and Jedi is, of course, my favorite of the Star Wars movies. Found my fingernail polish. If you guys are Transformer collectors, you know what fingernail polish is for. A dude with clear fingernail polish is a Transformer collector. So this is kind of how I store my loose figures, just kind of group them together in these cases. And, you know, I don't know, if you've got more than one of a figure, then you might group them. I was really building up on these for my Cell Bars display, which we're going to see that coming up. So in these cases, I store like the R2-D2s. Now one of the things about these cases that have the red, I was always worried that they would bleed because I've seen it before. I have seen figures get some red bleeding on them from these red cases, but I think after it's aged 30, 40 years, the bleeding isn't there anymore. But yeah, I have varying different degrees of condition of my R2-D2s, and then underneath, of course, R5-D4s and stuff. So that's kind of how I collect. Now, I'm a droid guy, so I just went out of my way to get every droid. I have a whole C-3PO case full of C-3POs, but past that, I mean, I don't have too many of the rest of them. So I think people have seen this a lot in my videos, but I'm going to show it again. It's actually pretty good. My masterpiece display. I've gone through a lot of work and altering and moving things around, and it's going to move as I get a figure. It's almost like a Tetris game where I put it and how I display it and move it around. But as you can see with those two hounds, I generally leave them side by side. I moved them just so it looks a little bit more clean, I guess you could say. But as I get another figure, I leave the comparison of the old that I think was the best. Just kind of take 2, 3, 4 weeks to decide which one I really like the best. And with my initial review, of course, I have an opinion. But that may change over time, or it may strengthen over time. Again, with the displays, the lighting is important, the background's important, and all of that good stuff. Up here, I do kind of feature my favorite best of the best of these figures, and I should have taken a little more time reposing them as I grab them down for videos and put them back up and grab them down and put them back up. Sometimes they just don't make it up eloquently. I actually put them back up and then I got to get to editing the video, so sometimes it's not as beautiful as it should be. I'm going to freehand the rest of this way of all these with my tripod being used as a selfie stick. Reverse selfie stick? Because I'm not taking a picture of myself. Anyway, Dinobots, I think I'm in on Giga. I mean, I still have some Fans toys, but I don't know. I just like bigger is better. Man, KO oversized. By the way, I don't have any problem with KO, so approximately 20% of my collection in here is KO, and if I decide to, maybe 50% will be KO eventually. Who knows? Going up top here, we've got Decepticons, and then, so I try to group it by season 1 and 2 and whatever, and then 3 movie and all that stuff is going to be in the other one. I still am rocking this Devastator, but I think I'm going to put a Minosaur here, and then move this Devastator down. I got like extra space down below in some of the Star Wars shelves, so good stuff. Cool thing about these, I don't store them in any of these, like the clones or anything that comes as a set. I don't like putting them as a set. I like scattering them around, just like the cone head here. We have a cone head over here. We have a cone head like back here somewhere. If I can get that. Yeah. Oh man, this is a heck of a selfie stick, let me tell you. Bumping it around there. And I got a kind of hodgepodge of all kinds of different Minosaur parts. Can't wait to build them. So here we go with season 3. And some stuff's changed. Some stuff since the last time I did a video of this, but not a whole lot. Here we go with... now I did kind of work in, so I actually have multiple different characters on different shelves. So I don't have like, okay, this is my one representation of RC. So I got an RC here and I got her in the other one. And then oddly I have Hot Rod and Rodimus next to each other, but I have a Devastator over there, a different Devastator over here. And then we got Magnus. And of course over here, this just team looks good. I probably will pull one of these Cyclone Eyes out when I get a Fans Toy Scourge, but till then, Scourge will stay down there. And then I got a little bit of a, what do you call this? The Quintessons and Sharkticons and all these, so a little bit of a Contessa going on there. And here we go with, man, Blur just looks so good like that. One of the few that I store in alt mode. And I got Bumblebee in each display, I don't know if you noticed that. It's kind of fun. Fun stuff. Good times. Good times. Yeah, that Galvatron, that Fans Toys Galvatron does look the best. I'd say though, if you have the DX9, you can get away with it. I mean, the DX9 still looks great. Lighting in every one of these shelves, and then the backgrounds, I just printed some stuff off and stuck it up there. I probably should do more with it than I do. Still, looking at this shelf, I'm going to back it up a bit. When you look at this shelf here, I like X-Transbot's Minosaur. Gravestone is good. He's solid. I mean, I've had a couple days to mess with him now, and I really like him. Man, I think he looks great. I mean, Fans Toys isn't bad. It's just I don't know. I think X-Transbots is going to win this for me in my heart. Okay, that's a MP36 there. That's the Magton, one of the better ones. See, back here, so this is kind of one of the things I did. If you look at this, that Predaking is the shortest thing in here. But he looks perfectly fine. Obala's got to have a shoe collection, you know? This is my closet. This is where, well, I hang clothes and stuff, but I also have some extra stuff in here, some figures. I have this Jango Fett Blaster collection for when all of myself and my 2 kids, we get dressed up in the cosplay kind of stuff. We got costumes up in those boxes up there, and more costumes. That is Freddy. We have multiple Freddy costumes, Air Mags, a couple PS4s in case one of the pros goes out, and then yeah, we're a Sony guy. I do like these. I hated them at first, but now I kind of like these little things here. These are the classic consoles. Yeah. Still don't want to give this guy up. I think he looks cool. But they kind of hang out with my fragrances, you know. If you got the bottle I'm working on and then the box behind it. This isn't... Okay, we got it lit up now. So this is just some extra figures. Fans always needs to come out there Forager for sure. For sure. I like these spring action lightsabers. I think they're really awesome. So I am a collector of mini lines, and I do envy the people that can just collect one thing and not everything, but this is a Bionic 6 collection, and it's grown since my Bionic 6 video, so I'm really thinking about doing an update video to that, but I added both the thrones to it. I have my good one is back in the box of the Mules van, so this is kind of like a parts Mules van I use for a display, and since parts are missing, you can kind of see it opened up and what it looks like opened up and all that good stuff. I'm trying to get numerous of these little vehicles, which is actually kind of hard. They're kind of expensive, and almost have them all sealed on card also and loose and stuff like that. It's just a lot of fun. Bionic 6 is a great toy line. It's kind of old. Quickly, I'm going to jump to some video game stuff. I really like video game systems, and especially the retro. When they're back in the day with the portables, and there's all this cool stuff you have with the portable game systems. And I got all of these down here, just like portable game systems. I got at garage sales for like 20 or 30 bucks. I'd get everyone's Game Gear or Nomad or whatever. Just people who sell stuff for dirt cheap. So I'm a collector on a budget kind of thing. Back in the day, if you had a Game Boy, you probably wanted a Lynx. In the end, the Game Boy games were actually better games. Jeff Goldblum, he likes to hang out right here. Probably my only Jurassic Park figure. Behind the door, I have some of my gaming games from over the years, but my favorite by far is the TurboGrafx 16, and it's just because it's so weird, it's so strange. I like it. Just a little bit more gaming stuff before I move on to actual toys. So this is my Centurions collection. This is something that kind of started last year, and it's harder to acquire than I thought, and you end up with some duplicates. And the whole thing here is I want to have a figure in each suit and complete each suit. It gets harder and harder as you get to the more rare suits, and the more common stuff's pretty simple, but I do kind of like having an extra suit. I'm working on that too, that's just sitting on its own, and it's really cool with the Centurions how you could put all the components on the guy, or you can make it into its own suit, and that's really cool. Like, this is what he looks like as the suit by itself, and that's what he looks like down here. There's also some action features and stuff, but I think I'm gonna do a whole review of this whole toy line. It's an awesome toy line. So this, like, half of this room is just used for storage. Yeah, it just looks crazy. Yeah, it looks like a hoarder, but there's rhyme and reason to how I store it. I guess before we get back to toys, there's more video games. It's the portables, like the Game Boys and stuff. I really like those. And 90% of those Game Boy systems over there I got for $1 at a garage sale. So I'm going to do custom work to it and stuff, put screens in. So looking at the Voltron stuff, I really like Voltron. It's pretty cool. But over the years, it's really, really getting hard to collect Voltron figures that are complete, and so I just kind of buy lots and piece them together, so you end up with a bunch of extras and really only like 2 complete ones. So that's kind of how that works. But hey, at least I can have a nice little shelf with some Voltrons on it, and it works out in the end. So over here I sort of have my Black Series collection, and so this is the Bounty Hunters. I got them set up, and then I really have more or less mostly original trilogy stuff that you can see. And then when you get down lower, like I have on a lower shelf down here, stuff that's not original trilogy. So it's like the new movie stuff, and I don't really care about it too much, but I kind of like the fact that some of the stuff is pretty cool. I think they've done great with the Black Series line. Some stuff down there. This is my Beast Wars shelf. This is like what's left of my Joe that I'm going to keep. I sold off the majority of my Joe stuff, but I didn't sell it all, I guess. I know it looks really busy because I'm actually working on piecing together another G1 Omega Supreme and a few other things going on down there. But at one point in time, it was just a mask display. But speaking of mask, we're going to get into some mask stuff real quick. So I did collect masks. It was like, it's kind of one of those weird things. Like the majority of what I collect, I knock it out in the summer or something, or over the course of a year. Kind of like I did with Centurions last year, and really not so much, not too expensive. What I do is buy lots. Like you see here, you can tell I bought a lot of lots and had multiples. And then I complete the ones that I want, and then I've sold off quite a bit. I mean, actually, I sold off about a third of what you see here just to kind of fund more masks, but still working on some stuff here. But I want to point out a few things real quick. So like on this shelf here, I have several different versions of some of the more rare ones, and it looks pretty good. I mean, I like the way it's kind of set up, but I really wish now that I have them that I would have either completed them all or just got rid of my parts ones, but now I just kind of I like looking at it set up the way I have it, and parts are getting more expensive. Just kind of like to put the jets up top, and I kind of mix in some of this Vortex. I have a Vortex video out there, so yeah, there's a light. Oh, light doesn't work that well. A couple of boxed ones too. So yeah, it's kind of fun. And I kind of mix in some of these the comics with it and stuff. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun putting all this together, setting all this up. And you know, a lot of people are like, well, why would you need all those Scott and T-Bobs? Well, if you're buying someone's entire lot and collection, you get a Scott and T-Bob. And then I have this weird obsession of trying to match it up, make sure I have a Scott and a T-Bob. It's crazy. But anyway, definitely, yeah, I think probably everyone's favorite is Thunderhawk. It's awesome. And you know, they've got this two different versions of the tail lights and stuff like that. And I really need to do another update vid because I got more of parts that are more complete. I do mix in other vehicles that those size figures would fit in. Generally, the 1/18 scale would fit these figures in them if they have like an opening, the doors open and stuff. You know, down here I got the trucks. You can see like the Optimus Prime over here, the movie Optimus Prime, which I didn't really care about the movie Optimus Prime, but then I realized he looks like Rhino, so yeah, I was like, cool. I'll be with getting on top of that. And then over here I have more loose Vortex stuff that's fun to mess with. And we'll go down. How low can you go? Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it seems like every one of these things is missing a hood, and I had to get two of these to piece me together a complete one, and that's kind of how that goes. And you do that so you can do it a whole lot cheaper. Got those guys. Goliath. I think that's about all I want to say about my secondary man room. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I call it a secondary man room, so we looked at the primary man room, this secondary man room. Let's go to the tertiary man room. It's actually a movie theater room, and I've got a 16-foot space here for a projector to hit, and I did a full video on this too, how I converted my attic space to a movie theater room, and really it's just, we added some AC to it too. It was a lot of work, but hey, it's a lot of fun, and I guess I could show you how big it is. This is kind of fun to watch movies and stuff, and it's about this big. I guess that's how big it is. And so we watch movies up here once in a while, but you know, I find that it's one of those things that it's really exciting when you do it, but we just don't think to come up here as much as we probably should. So the lights are on a dimmer, so you can light them up, or you can dim them as you go. And I got lights all the way across. I also have lights up top here, so for whatever reason, if we want to use this space for something other than a movie theater. But if you do a projector, you really want to black it out. So anyway, I also use this for storage. There's also built-in speakers in the ceiling. That's a lot of fun there. But let's look at what we got over here. This is the sail barge. This whole area here is kind of like my whole Jabba the Hutt section, and that's really where I do store my sail barge picture, kind of like my Fort Max picture. This is the sail barge itself, and I did have a review on that one. That was kind of fun. That was a real fun day because my buddy got really excited about it. I do all vintage on here, except unless the figure wasn't in vintage, then I put in another figure, which is, you know, like that slave layer there. What do they call her now? Java Dancer layer, Leia or whatever. Oh, but I went ahead and set scenes up down below and all that. So I mean, kind of like, you're like, well, why do you have more than one figure? Well, if you like making dioramas, which I've kind of gotten into, you have to have more than one figure, or you know, your diorama stops at one, right? So there it is. That's pretty cool, though. I do like the cell barge, and I look forward to Unicron. And this guy here is one that I bought brand new, and I just really was amazed how big the Legacy AT-AT is. He's up here, even though he's kind of out of place. But yeah, he's up here. And I do kind of use this corner for storage also. Just miscellaneous junk. But Death Star project. Now, I still am... I'm not trying to do another Death Star project, but you just kind of get in the motion of buying Death Star parts, and you don't want to stop with a handful of parts, but you're like, oh, 3 more parts and I can complete one. Which is kind of the situation I'm always in. I need 3 more pieces to complete another one every time. But anyway, this is the Death Star project. Shine some light on that. I actually started my channel doing this Death Star project with my son, with both my kids. I did delete a couple of those videos. I think I'll just redo them. But I deleted them because of the whole COVID thing. But I left a couple up, and that had them in it for like less than 10 seconds. So that was like 0.0005% of it. So they really can't be considered the actors in it. So, but anyway, I did make this Palatoy one by hand. That was from scratch, and I made a video how to do that. But this is 9 Death Stars together in a circle, and so it's pretty cool. I really like how it worked out, and I probably need to revisit that because it's a pretty awesome project. It was a whole lot of fun. If you didn't think I looked like a hoarder before, then I look like a hoarder now. These are my boxes, and I have them all on this wall, but I kind of had to take some of them down because too many Legend stuff. This is the attic. Yes, my lighting sucks up here, but I do want to point out that I just keep accumulating more and more of these shuttles. They're my favorite. Hope you enjoyed this collection video. I hope you had as much fun watching it as I did making it, and just kind of, well, it's a way different type of collection video than I'm used to making, but I really plan on breaking it down and going deeper on some of those other toy lines that I'm into in the future. So like, subscribe, and Teddy Hanger out.